Biafra, superstars, media.
My people, my Biafran people, how on a day? I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending from where you listen to the sound of my voice. This is the Biafra Superstars Media, and I'm holding it down. I say may God bless Biafra, and may God bless His Excellency, Oyendo Mazenamde Kano. May God bless, may God bless, may God bless, may God bless His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Biafra, USB, His Excellency, ESN, Ekpa, Simon and Njoku, for the job Simon is doing. Simon, I want to say we thank you. We appreciate you, we love you, because we know in your hands Biafra has come. In your hands Biafra will be safe. And in your hands, now that Biafra has come, the people of Biafra will rejoice. When I say the people, I mean the men, the women, the children, the old, the young, the sick, the poor, the mild, the gentle, the civilized and the uncivilized. Those born in Biafra and those born in the Bight of Biafra, we shall all come together under one voice, under one accord, under one union, and scream for Hallelujah Day, the day that the God of Biafra has made. Fellow Biafrans, today, I wish you warm greetings. For those who believe in Christianity, I believe today is known as Good Friday, the day that our Lord Jesus Christ was killed and crucified. Fellow Biafrans, today, I will go straight to the point. I am calling on the President of Finland, Stubb. I am asking, when will this childish nonsense stop? When will this foolishness that you are putting your people through, your country through, when will it end? We are hearing that Finland is about to take Simon Ekpa to court, or he'll be appearing in court in the month of June. I want to assure the President of Finland that he's wasting his time. Because whatever that Finland will accuse Simon Ekpa of, those same things can be turned around and you can be accused of it as well. Because everything our leader is doing for his country, Biafra, are similar to what you are doing, advocating for Ukraine. At this point, we shall hear the discussion that Stubb had, and at the end I will come and put him in his place. I will remind him that he is working with a third world country to sabotage the interest of an independent nation known as Biafra. The President of Finland is working with Nigeria, a third world country, a country described as a shithole country by the #1 citizen of the world, Donald Trump. A country described as being fantastically corrupt by the then Prime Minister of Britain, Lord David Cameron. Hence, I'm calling upon Stubb. I'm telling him he has no case against Simon Ekpa. He has no case against him. At this point, before we listen to his interview, I've got some tweets to share with you. His tweets and retweets are just a day old. When you go to the Twitter handle or the X handle of Stubb, the President of Finland, you will see he reposted a tweet by the President of Ukraine, Zelensky. And I read, he said, the President of Ukraine, that is, he said, and I quote, "I had a good and honest conversation with the President of Finland at Stubb. We discussed many issues, including preparation for our next joint steps and our response to possible Russian provocation in near future. I informed about the battle situation and our need, and the rest of them, you can go through it. Blah, 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 blah." In response, Stubb sent a tweet, and I read. He said, "As always, good to talk with my friend, Zelensky. We discussed the situation on ground, including the days ahead. Ukraine has accepted a full and unconditional ceasefire with Russia. the aggressor. Okay, he's saying that Russia, the aggressor, must do the same. Ukraine has accepted a full and unconditional ceasefire. Russia, the aggressor, must do the same. Finland and Ukraine continue to work for a just and noble cause, and the rest of them. Fellow Biafrans, what you've just heard is a man showing his support in the private and in the public for Ukraine. Alexander Stubb is based in Finland. He's the president of Finland. He's the same party man or member of our leader, Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra. And if Alexander Stubb has the liberty, the freedom to speak this way on behalf of a different country, another independent country, Ukraine, and nobody's holding him down, he's not been held incommunicado, he's not been arrested, he's not been tried for terrorism, for supporting a country to go to war against Russia, or supporting a country in war with Russia. That tells you that whatever our Prime Minister is doing in Finland, he has the right to do what he's doing, to advocate for his own country, his own motherland, Biafra. So please ignore the naysayers who are saying, oh, in Nigeria now, the media, they are back at it. Once again, they are speaking about Simon Ekpa. So please ignore those naysayers. Those who are agents of Lucifer himself, ignore them. I want to assure you that Simon Ekpa has no case to answer. And today, I have just proven to you that even the president of Finland is advocating for a war-torn country to keep on fighting the good fight against Russia. At this point, I would like us all to look into this interview by Alexander Stubb when he was discussing activities between Ukraine, Russia, and America. If you're ready, let's go there. Watch this.
We return to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Russians and Ukrainians appear to have agreed on which types of energy-related facilities will be safe from attack during a limited ceasefire. And as we reported earlier, there's now an agreement to ensure safe navigation of ships in the Black Sea. I spoke earlier with the president of Finland, Alexander Stubb, about all of this, the threat from Russia, and broader U.S. relations with Europe. President Stubb, welcome to the NewsHour.
Thanks.
As broader peace talks continue in Saudi Arabia, the U.S. today said an agreement has been reached to ensure safe navigation in the Black Sea. Does that provide any hope toward a more encompassing ceasefire deal?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we have to split the process into two. First is a ceasefire, and only after that can you negotiate an actual peace agreement and a peace settlement. And it looks like we're taking the ceasefire step by step. So first there was an idea of not bombing energy and infrastructure. Now we're going to the Black Sea. So I think what the Americans have brokered here is a good first step towards some kind of a full-on ceasefire.
And the U.S. is also acknowledging that it will pursue sanctions relief for Russian food, fertilizer, and shipping companies. Is that an appropriate accommodation for Russia in your view?
Well, you know, I can't take a stand on what the American administration does on sanctions. On the European side, I don't see any lifting of sanctions at this stage. As a matter of fact, we're working on a 17th package. But it is with certain joy that I hear that American senators are putting up a sanction package led by Senator Lindsey Graham, where the idea is that if the ceasefire is broken, then a new wave of sanctions will be put down. Because in my experience, the only thing that Putin and Russia understands is power.
Let's talk.
Hold it there. He's speaking about sanctions on Russia. This is a country that has no dog in the fight between the war of Russia and Ukraine. But he's here advocating for sanctions to be placed on Russia. The president of Finland is here advocating for sanctions to be placed on Russia. But when our prime minister has placed a sanction on Nigeria, When we placed an economic sanction on Nigeria, and today the economy of Nigeria is down, is dwindling, is in the gutters, people turned around and they blame us. They say we have committed a crime, that we made sure sit at home was functioning every Monday, which helped to further crumble the economy of Nigeria, because they are waging war upon us, the good people of Biafra. They blame us. They say Simon Ekpa is the problem. Sit at home. People are dying, according to them. But yet, you've just heard Alexander Stubb advocating for something similar against the might of Russia. Let's continue.
That because there is concern across Europe about the current administration's stance on Vladimir Putin. President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, in a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, called Vladimir Putin super smart, said he didn't regard him as a bad guy. And he also suggested that there are Ukrainians who want to live under Russian rule. Take a listen to what he said.
I think the largest issue in that conflict are these so-called four regions: Donbass, Crimea, the names Lugansk, and there's two others. They're Russian-speaking.
Yep.
There have been referendums where the overwhelming majority of the people have indicated that they want to be under Russian rule.
Yes.
I think that's the key issue.
Hold it there. The people within those localities, they have gone through a referendum, something Nigeria refused to give to us. And in their voting, they came out to say they want to be under Russian rule. People in those areas, they came and they voted through a referendum. And they said the outcome was they are happy to be under the Russian rule. So you can see that Russia has a legal backings for what they are doing in Ukraine. Because a people that conducted the referendum came out and said, through their voting, through the ballots, they want to be under Russian rule. The same way we, the Biafrans, we did our own self-referendum because Nigeria, a criminal enterprise, refused to give us that opportunity. Hence, we Biafrans in diaspora and local, we were able to conduct ours. And over 50 million people voted. Over 50 million Biafrans voted that they wanted an independent nation. So I tell you, Simon Ekpa has no case to answer. Our Prime Minister is doing what he's doing on behalf of the 80 million Biafrans. Perhaps you can say the 50 million Biafrans that voted in a referendum. Let's continue.
Doesn't want to have a world where Russia and the United States are doing collaboratively good things together.
What's your reaction to that?
Finland has a 1,340 kilometer long border with Russia, and we've coexisted with Russia and the Soviet Union. Since the 1300s, we've had roughly 30 wars and skirmishes. So my take is that with Russia, you always have to be alert and you have to be quite careful. Perhaps Mr. Witkoff looks at things a little bit from a real estate perspective and sees this a little bit as a zero-sum game. And in my experience with the Russians, it's a little bit more complicated than that. The only thing that Russia understands is power. There's a saying that if you have a bayonet in your hand in Russia and it's soft, you push it through. If it hits something hard, you pull back. And I think right now is the time to be hard, not soft with Russia.
Given Finland's long border with Russia, how have you adjusted your defense strategy in light of the invasion?
Well, we really haven't, apart from, of course, joining the alliance. You have to remember that having had such a long border and experience with Russia, we've always had one of the strongest militaries in Europe. We have 62 F-18s. We bought 64 F-35s from the US. We have long-range missiles, land, air, and sea. And we have the biggest artillery in Europe together with Poland. And as I always say, we don't have them because we're worried about Stockholm. We have them because we want to have a deterrent towards Russia.
You have said that the only real solution to deter Moscow was to militarize Ukraine to its teeth. How can Europe do that without the full support of the US? Is it possible?
Well, we have to work hand in hand. The first observation to make is that, of course, the biggest military power in Europe right now is Ukraine. Just give you one example. 3 years ago, when the war started, they were not able to produce any drones. Last year, they produced 1.5 million. This year, they will produce 4.5 million. So, of course, we need to continue to support Ukraine, but it is, in all honesty, very important, of course, that the United States continues to support Ukraine, because what we want to do is we want to avoid this thing happening again. And the only way in which you do it is by making sure that Ukraine is strong enough that there's no incentive for Russia to attack again.
Hold that there. Hold your thoughts there, my people. Like I said, this is a man advocating for not his country, not Finland, but he's speaking boldly, with confidence, about his support for Ukraine, engaging in a war with Russia. Yet, when you hear him speak, people will say, oh no, there is no crime in what he's saying. Now you tell me, what's the difference between what he's saying with what our leader, Simon Ekpa, was saying? He's there in his studio speaking. Simon Ekpa is there in his studio speaking to us all this while, since the year 2021, about the need to protect ourselves from the enraging zoo country known as Nigeria and their army coming to Islamize us, coming to take over our land and the rest of them. Exactly what he said all these years has come to pass. All what our leader Nnamdi Kanu told us has also come to pass. So what's the crime there? Can't you see the similarity of what this man is saying against what our leader, His Excellency, Mazi Simon Ekpa, has been saying all these years? So please, I want you to understand, Simon Ekpa has no case to answer. It's just a joke. They are jokers. For anyone to assume that Simon Ekpa has a case to answer, they are just a bunch of jokers. Mediocres in the game or in the war of international politics. But Finland, what I want you to understand is you have done the unthinkable. For you to hold a man that has no criminal case, not a single criminal case or records, no criminal records in his dossier, in his files, but you held him for 6-7 months because a third world country asked you to do so, because of the bilateral agreement you entered with Nigeria, because of your need for oil and gas. You did the unthinkable. Finland, I want you to understand that we the Biafrans will hold you to account. We shall keep this in your records. That at a time when the people, we believed in you because we believed when it comes to the countries that respect human rights, freedom of speech, over and over again, Finland has been number one. You've maintained that record of being a country that is highly reputable when it comes to protecting, observing, respecting the freedom and equity of individuals around the whole world. But today, it seems to me that so-called freedom that the people of Finland enjoy, that makes them number one around the whole world, it seems to me, it appears to be as if it's only meant for the whites living in Finland, the Caucasians, those with blue eyes, pale skin, and perhaps blonde hair. It appears to be as if the migrants living in Finland, the Africans, the minorities living in Finland may not be enjoying the same liberty. So for those out there giving Finland all those accolades, I hope next time you will do a further research to know how they extend their freedom of liberty to those who are minorities in Finland. Because I don't understand is that our leader Simon Ekpa has no criminal record in his name. He has committed no crime in Finland. But Finland will allow a third world country like Nigeria for the promise they gave to them for oil and gas. All because of the love of having a juicy contract from Nigeria. The Finnish government has decided to go rogue. They have gone rogue and are doing the unthinkable, implementing an archaic law that when somebody is being suspected of being a terrorist, then they will have to go in with the might of the law to hold him hold him somewhere incommunicado until the case is completely investigated. Even though, according to that same law, it says you have to investigate within 2 weeks. I repeat, 14 days, 2 weeks. But there is a gray area in that law that says at the end of the 2 weeks, they can always review the case. Hence, our leader, every 2 weeks, his case is being reviewed and he's been held in total isolation, incommunicado for 2 weeks. He reviewed, then 2 weeks again, another review, and so far it's been more than 7 months. And now they are saying, oh, finally, they will be going to court in the month of June. It makes me to wonder, what happened to all the so-called evidence that they had from Nigeria all this while? While wait and exhaust the 7 months maximum duration to hold someone. I get it. The government of Finland is working with Nigeria to find a way to quench this thirst, this quest for the freedom of the Biafrans. Hoping that holding Simon Ekpa somewhere incommunicado means we, the people of Biafra, will break away, will filter through, and let go this quest for our independence. But the irony of this is that the same person who is advocating for Ukraine is the same person, the same vessel, the same country, the same government working against the independence and freedom, liberation of the people of Biafra. Hence, I'm calling on Finland that this game must end. This child's play, this charade you call an investigation of our Prime Minister must come to an end. Fellow Biafrans, if time permits me, I want to assure you all that the game is over. All the hanky-panky, the hide and seek, it is over. Finland cannot go beyond the 7 months that they can hold Simon Ekpa for because they know deep inside he has no case to answer. But the month of June will be the last time our leader will be held in Finland. Unless Finland is ready to apply a law or bend the law or misinterpret the law as they do in Nigeria, a shithole country, a criminal enterprise. Unless Finland is ready to bend their own law, which will now confirm to me that no country is holier than thou. They are all pretenders. When the going is going good, they pretend as if they respect the rule of law. But when it is time to do some back shady deals with a third world country, with an African country, suddenly they go rogue. And now in the case of Finland, they are holding their own. They are holding a black Finnish citizen. In a strange rule that has not been implemented in Finland all these years. Fellow Biafrans, I'll leave it here. But going forward, if I have the time, because I have a very busy schedule going through for the next 6 to 7 weeks, but I'll try and create time where every day I'll be giving you a countdown until when we shall see our leader, His Excellency, Mazi Ekpa Simon Njoku. Thank you all. God bless you. And God bless Biafra. Thank you. Yeah, Biafra, Biafra. Yeah, Superstar Media. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra. I wanna know. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra, Biafra. I wanna know. We going back to the land. We going back to the motherland. Biafra, Biafra. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the land. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the motherland. Tell me about Biafra, Biafra. Tell me about Biafra. We going back to the land.